hang around. You're going to meet my friends, Dr. Artie Volker, Dr. Matt Costa, and Jason, talking about their challenges as clinical dentists, as leaders. But we're also infusing business skills, leadership skills, patient communication skills. I want to welcome our next key resource and sponsor, Mark Johnson, yet next year to talk with us, and he's going to share what he does to help dentists. Mark, thanks for being here with us on a Sunday. We really appreciate it.
Hey, good morning, Paul. How are you?
I'm doing great. And I mean, what you do to help dentists, first I'd like to say, as a 43-year-old dentist, every day in this dentisting world, and probably uniquely because of my position, what I do, I learned that there's services that are a thing that I didn't even know were a thing the week before, right? Which is a cool part of being in our industry. But we have this cave-like mentality where dentists work in caves. How do you find out? So first I'd like to share, if you say, my name's Mark Johnson, what do you do to help dentists and what does your company do?
Sure. My name is Mark Johnson. I'm the founder of StudentLoansRx.com. And what we do is help primarily dental professionals create a comprehensive plan to address their student loan debt, kind of with an eye towards their career goals.
I like that. Now, dental school debt is a very, very hot topic, spicy topic, because, you know, when I graduated from dental school in 2002, it was the list price to go to dental school was $200,000. That same school was close to $600,000. So share with us a little bit about the trends in dental school debt. First, actually, if someone just watched this part of the show, Mark, how could they reach out to you directly to learn more about what you do?
Sure, they can visit our website at StudentLoansRx.com, or they could text me at 314-737-8123, and I'll reach back out to them and we'll set up some time to visit. We do offer a free 30-minute consultation, no obligation, so they can go to our website, click on free consult. So that's the best way to reach out to us.
Awesome. I love that. And that's where the true ultimate, I talk about awareness, attention, just find out, momentum. If you're a dentist or dental student with debt, taking advantage of a complimentary consultation just to find out. I mean, we have a great sponsor, Mark, who helps with credit card processing, Merchant Advocate, and they either tell the client they're getting great rates or they can save thousands of dollars a year. No bad outcome. And I'm assuming you probably have similar experiences working in your debt world. Would that be accurate?
Absolutely. We visit with folks coming out of dental school or residency, and that's our primary focus is those D4s are focused on folks in residency, but oftentimes we'll run into somebody that's been out of school for 2 or 3 years and they just want to check up to see, hey, am I on the right plan or not? You know, sometimes we say, no, you're not on the right plan. You could be doing something a little bit better, saving yourself some money.
And that's so important because dental school debt is something that needs to be managed appropriately. And I know when I pick up my best friend here, Mark, my phone, I know my phone can do 100 things. And I know you do multiple things, which we'll get to. But if you could just help me and help dentists watching and help my team understand, you know, I'm a dentist. I'm about to graduate from Penn. I did a GPR. I have $582,000 in debt. Can you just walk us through a little bit about some of the options to repay this debt? If I just called you up after my GPR and said, hey, Mark, it's Paul, I have $582,000 in debt. What are some treatment plans that take care of debt like this?
Sure. So the first thing I'm going to do is ask you a few questions on kind of where do you want to go with your career? Do you want to be a practice owner? Are you going into public health?
I'd like to be an associate for a couple of years. Then I'm going to give you, this is a great exercise for a team. I want to be an associate for a couple of years, then buy a practice.
Okay, fantastic. So the goal then is to be a practice owner. And so we would help you put together a financial plan that would get you to that goal within the next 2 to 3 years. What that would likely entail is, let's say you're single, you didn't have any income, or maybe you had a little bit of income in GPR, like 40, 50 grand, maybe 60 grand if you're on the East Coast, okay? So an income-driven repayment plan to keep your payment low for the first 2 or 3 years so that you could save up some money and get yourself in a great position to buy a practice. Now, you might be able to walk into the bank and they might finance the whole, you know, practice, but there's still some other things, you know, buying a business, buying a home, there's always incidental costs that don't get covered by a loan. So we'd want to make sure we get you in the best financial position to buy that practice in 2 or 3 years. That would likely entail an income-driven repayment plan.
And what I want to highlight, golden Nacho Tip, I'm someone who sells practices, buyer coaching, and I learned this, paying off your debt as quickly as possible can be a disadvantage to buying a practice because you won't have enough saved in liquid assets. And that's happened multiple times through clients who say, oh, I paid off a lot of debt, but I only have $10,000 saved. They should have connected with someone like you earlier, so you could have created a treatment plan for success, because this is the low-fat diet of the 90s. Everybody said, I'm going to eat a low-fat diet, and that wasn't right. Now it's like, how many avocados should I eat? An unlimited amount of avocados. And I make this as a joke because what we intuitively think will make us successful is not that. Is that something you've seen too?
Absolutely. In your example where you come out of dental school or GPR with $582,000 in student loan debt, let's say in 2 years or 3 years, let's say you could pay off $50,000 of that. Okay. You walk into the bank to get a loan and tell them you have $532,000 in student loan debt. They could care less whether you have 532 or 582.
Right.
But if you would have saved that $50,000 in an account, they would look more favorably on giving you a loan in most circumstances than if you just said, I don't have any savings, but I've got, $50,000 less in student loan. The bank's primarily concerned about, does the practice cash flow if we loan them money, and are they going to be able to make that payment? Which leads to another thing, which is don't be so quick to refinance your federal student loan debt, because that gets you locked into a payment for 10 or 15 years that could be much, much higher in those first 2 or 3 years out of school than an income-driven repayment plan.
Yeah, and I mean, you're just sharing such great value. Big fan of Always Be Sharing, ABS. So if you're listening, watch this. Make sure you're saving a percentage of your income to have towards a practice, not so you can spend it towards the practice so the bank thinks you're a good risk. If you want an easy way of thinking that, 10% of the practice purchase price, $800,000 practice, have $880,000 in liquid assets that you can touch, non-retirement assets. Now, Mark, I want to move on to what are some of the other things you do at Student Loan Planner? You have things about the CARES Act and some other toppings that you offer. Share with us about that. And also just share if someone just jumped on now, because we're probably not having 1 or 2 million people on the show by the end. I'm hoping 2 million. Maybe they just jumped on. How can they reach out to you?
Sure. They can reach out to us at studentloansrx.com. Click on the free consult button up in the top right-hand corner of the homepage, and we'll do a free 30-minute phone or Zoom consultation. And my phone number is 314-737-8123. As you mentioned, the CARES Act is expiring in about 74 days, so January 1st. And so student loan payments and interest is going to resume accruing on federal student loans. It typically takes a month to 6 weeks to get enrolled in an income-driven repayment plan. And for these D4s that graduated, and well, they're not D4s anymore, they graduated in 2020, they've got some decisions to make in the next 74 days on what they're going to do with their student loans. So many of them have been kicking that can down the road over the summer and early fall because there's been no interest accruing and no payments have been required. But they've got 74 days to put together a well-thought plan. And what I recommend is, make sure that you're getting advice from somebody that has experience.
Right.
There's a lot of armchair or pseudo advisors out there telling dental professionals what to do with their student loans, and they may or may not have any experience. So what's a good plan for a fellow classmate may not be a good plan for you. It may depend. The other thing is that your loan servicer, so there's about 15 loan servicers out there for federal student loans. They are not financial advisors. They're not going to ask you the appropriate amount of questions to help you determine what is the right repayment strategy for you. So again, I'll just promote our free 30-minute consultation. If you go to our website, we can have that consultation and see what might be the best repayment strategy for you. And it may not be a strategy for the next 10 years. It may just be a bridge strategy to get you to that position to buy that practice like we talked about earlier, Paul.
Yeah, perfect. I'm going to give them a low text code too for them to reach out to you. So as we wrap up, if you were saying we got new dentists here, we got dental students, we got dentists in practice, what's something that you would do right now if they were in your shoes, if you were in their shoes, to make sure that they protect themselves and prepare themselves for what's coming up next year?
Well, I believe that comprehensive planning is really important. So oftentimes we put our different financial pieces in silos, and if you've got $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 in student loan debt, whatever decision you make on how to approach that student loan debt is going to impact all the other areas of your financial life. So we believe that comprehensive wealth management and comprehensive financial planning is the key. And if you don't have a written plan, and you're just kind of shooting from the hip, that's probably not the best way to approach
I
2021.
think I'll give you an example I've given to many of our awesome key resource and sponsor, and thanks for allowing so many dental students to be able to see this, is that if you said to patients, you wouldn't do a full mouth rehabilitation without a treatment plan, without a good treatment plan, they would get that. They say, oh, that would be crazy. Well, a lot of times dentists are operating their full mouth rehabilitation of wealth and protecting themselves with no good treatment plan. So get a treatment plan, leverage people like Mark, reach out to them for a JFO complimentary consult. If you text us, my awesome team will connect you with Mark with his links and landing pages. But one more time, Mark, just share which website for them to go to.
Yeah, our website is studentloansrx.com.
Awesome.
Studentloansrx.com.
And we're putting this in the chat, guys. Great information from Tyler, great information from Mark. Thanks so much, Mark. We really appreciate it.
Have a great Sunday, Paul. Good luck on the CE program today.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your support.